Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to contribute to this session today. I appreciate the setup provided by all three presenters, and as you can see from the title, I was asked to speak specifically about the climate change compact here in Southeast Florida and some of the lessons that we've derived through our collaboration over the last 14 years. So the next slide, please. I expect that many already have a decent familiarity, so I won't belabor too much the overall history, but just to acknowledge that, we are the four Southeast counties. We came together with our first climate summit in 2009, but we formalized our collaboration in 2010. And it was with the general recognition that we were all working together working together simultaneously, but not in coordination on shared climate issues. We all had separate climate change task forces. We had separate vulnerability assessments. We had separate sea level rise projections, utilizing all the same information, but oftentimes with different results or results that could have been better aligned based upon the fact that we share so much in the way of transportation systems, watersheds, airsheds, shorelines, beaches, coral reefs. So many reasons for us to work together as a region. Next slide, please. And so the first convening that we held in 2009 was attended by about 150 individuals. We put it together in about 3 months. The major deliverable, though, coming from that was the presentation of a proposed compact, which was just a couple page document that would detail how we would work together on our shared challenges of both climate mitigation and adaptation. It committed us to baselining our tools like our vulnerability assessments and the sea level rise projection that Jim showed earlier, working together to develop a regional action plan. We are now working on iteration 3 of our regional climate action plan and hope to have that unveiled at this year's summit. We also committed to work together on shared energy and climate policy and to reconvene every year with a compact summit where we could come together, kind of assess our progress and set the stage for the future. And I just want to say that over all the years, as we've seen major transitions with county administrations, with county commissions, with the staff that are involved with the compact experience has been substantially reinforced through these annual summits. And it provides an opportunity to talk, to dialogue, to network and to establish and reinforce those relationships with partners with whom we don't maybe have a chance to engage with the frequency that we would like. And it almost feels like a homecoming. I think that's kind of the sense that it should have when we do it well. And the last several years have been really, really rewarding, at least those where we were able to actually come together in person. So we're looking forward to that again in this next year. Next slide, please. And while through the years, we've been able to execute on a number of the critical projects or deliverables to which we were committed under this original collaborative document, including those action plans, as I mentioned, the sea level rise projections. We've also worked together on regional emissions inventories, and those have been important because it reinforces not only what we think we know locally, but those trends are shared throughout the region. And so what that ends up doing is kind of bolstering both arguments for why certain investments are important, and that it's doubling or reinforcing not only local commitments, but those trends that we know that extend beyond our individual boundaries into the region. And really, you get the compounded effect, I think, of making those investments when you know that it's addressing both local and regional trends at an equivalent level. Next slide, please. It also reinforces the importance of many of the strategies that need to be implemented. And I want to share that clearly there's very strong political leadership, and we wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for the commitment of our elected leaders. But then we also have an immense and powerful team at the staff level that is charged with that implementation. And it's been kind of fluid. I think that's been important. We have a core group of individuals representing the 4 counties that have been important to sustaining that engagement, but we're supported by the Institute of Sustainable Communities that has provided project management or, considered part of that staff committee. We have municipal individuals who are engaged representing those communities. We have technical partners that come through FIU and the Nature Conservancy and others. And so while on paper things might look as if it's fairly insular in terms of the 4-county compact, fact is that there is this broad and rich and diverse team of individuals who contribute to the compact throughout the year and make massive contributions to the work products that have supported the compact. Next slide, please. Part of that is also represented in this slide, which is the demonstration of all of the additional external resources that have come to the compact over the years. And I'm sure it's not all inclusive, but this acknowledgement that we had very early on that we're trying to attract this support, but it's very difficult when a partner has to choose. Well, do I undertake this project with Palm Beach, or do I choose Broward this time, or is Monroe the partner? But if you can just partner with the compact, you get the one-time investment that benefits a much broader area. We set ourselves up better to be a recipient of services and technical support by serving as the compact. And I think that the partners too, who partner with us, whether it's through policy projects, technical resources, also can speak to the benefits of those investments being compounded by virtue of it being the compact partnership. And we're also able to bring that work to different levels of granularity as we oftentimes have implementation workshops that bring information to a very local level. So it's not all sitting at a very high level of the 4 counties either. Next slide, please. But one of the partnerships or investments that we've made in recent years that I think has really worked to elevate even further the work of our compact is that of the engagement with the business community. And I think we've also seen this model really take off in the Tampa Bay region with their recent report on economic resilience and their own convening with business leadership. And I think a lot of that was, I guess, inspired by some of the successes that we have had in South Florida. I didn't show clearly all of the initial work products or continuation of work products over the years. One that we really wanted to highlight here is that of the business case for resilience, which was jointly funded with the business community, the compact partners, monies that came in from the state, and has really demonstrated the economic return on investment that comes through strategic investments in infrastructure and those that bolster the economy. Next slide, please. I mentioned the work at the local level. I just think it's really important to underscore that while we are the 4 counties, we understand that so much of the planning actually occurs through dollars spent by municipalities and actions and initiatives that are executed through zoning and other very local tools and or stormwater management plans. And so it has been a key objective of the compact to hold these implementation workshops that are organized around key recommendations that are designed to bring our municipalities, our consultants that work with counties, cities, and the tribal representatives, et cetera, all to the table to look at what implementation requires at very local levels. Next slide, please. And so some of the very specific lessons learned over the years I've tried to highlight here. I think we all have different structures in terms of our compacts and our councils. We've found that it's been really important to think about how can you structure yourself to bring money in. We are not a separate entity, the compact, so it does rely upon one of the partners to serve as a fiscal agent, and determining who is best able to do that, either because of procurement or legal or administrative process or staffing, is really an important consideration. We also have learned over the years that while there might be some disagreement among even regional entities, that we feel quite strongly the requirement to operate within the sunshine. And that then means that many of the meetings that we would prefer to have over a phone call require in-person participation. And the larger your region, the more challenging that, and thinking about, well, how many people and who are the people that need to make up a quorum in order to be able to have the required compliance with sunshine requirements. So that's a really important part about why we're structured the way we are these days. Think about the scale of who needs to be at each conversation, the type of support and staffing that's required in order to be able to execute, which influences who comes to the table and how much information everybody needs to have at a certain point of time. But no matter the structure, it's really important to create that opportunity for broader engagement, hence why we have our implementation workshops and so forth, and really work to partner outside of the, the formalities of, the compact itself and its minimal structure. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so additional lessons just in terms of the staff committee and how we work together. We've all learned that, we all know that we're seeking efficiencies all the time. Be generous with your time, your expertise, your work products. I think we all share liberally and are gratified to be able to help one another. And I don't think that there's a strong sense of ownership or proprietary, senses as it comes with any of our projects. Maintain flexibility and understanding. We all look different in terms of how much staff we have, where we sit in the organization, the resources, our history, our priorities. So learning to be flexible, and not everybody implements the same way or moves at the same pace, and that's okay. It's great to have different leaders in different areas. Serve as a convener. Remember that the people at the table are not necessarily your most critical partners from day to day. And we have broad networks that we associate within our organization and communities. We found partners through Board of Rules and Appeals, through our procurement, through the county attorney's office, and external partners. So finding ways to bring those folks together to help execute on priorities is really critical. Next slide, please. I know I'm running very short, and I'm short on slides as well. And just in terms of the summit, because we are getting ready to host, and here we are at a summit also for ourselves, just some of the lessons that have been derived have been the importance of coming back with deliverables that remind us why we're working together and allow new leadership to recommit. Emphasizing the importance of the regional collaborations as part of the conversation, not just the topics. Why are we there together with the representation that we have? Integrating science always helps to take out some of the debate on some of the topics that might be there, and reinforces that this is information that is timely and relevant and coming from sources beyond staff. Engaging young people, we know that they're the stakeholders, not today and in the future, and they're going to be executing and implementing a lot of what we're putting into place, and making the summits relevant to the attendees with projects. So it's not all kind of, high level, it feels soft, not really quite sure what implementation looks like. Many of our public works people, for example, they want to see projects and they don't want to just talk about theory. Next slide, please. And then just acknowledging, as Jim represented, there's a whole other tier of implementation. Miami-Dade has the 305 strategy. In Broward, we help implement a regional resilience roundtable. We have our own projects. Palm Beach has their own 7, partner assessment focused on vulnerabilities. Monroe County has the County Roads Project, and it's whole other areas of the convening. So there's a lot that needs to be brought down in order to ensure implementation outside of the compact. And it's really important to think about what kind of structures can support implementation through those tiers of additional government that we have. And then finally, with the last slide, I would just invite everyone to join us in Southeast Florida. We'll be formally extending invites to the other regional collaboratives. Hope to bring all key partners to our own summit for additional conversation on December 8th and 9th, hosted in Broward County at the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. Broward County, Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. Thanks very much, and look forward to questions.